Hi. Official recaps here.
The movie starts in a desert area, where we see a woman named Mallory driving her car. She is soon to be married as we learn that she is getting married after a week, so she is headed out of the city in order to make preparations for the big day in her sister's place. The girl doesn't really seem excited about getting married because she is unable to believe she is going to get married within a week. She video chats with her sister Ella while driving there. Ella explains to her that she hasn't purchased her tickets yet because she wants to be certain that Mallory is truly in love and content with her choice. Mallory answers by feigning happiness before hanging up. It is unknown what is causing her to feel this way. The girl uses the service lane because she wants to take a shortcut to Denver, which is where she is going. She is halted in her tracks, though, when her automobile breaks down en route. She then makes her utmost effort in vain to start the engine. Now that she is all by herself in a remote place with no signals, Mallory is unable to call for assistance. A soda drink can explode when she tries to open it, soaking her clothing. Later, when she is getting dressed in the back of the car, someone startles her. He goes by the name of Christian. When she explains what's wrong, the man feels horrible for the girl who is stuck and starts working on fixing her automobile right away. Fortunately for Mallory, the man is skilled at what he does, and he solves the issue. Following her expression of gratitude, Mallory proceeds on her way. I know what you guys are thinking. She ought to have provided the man a ride. She begins to believe that since the man is on foot and has assisted her in fixing her car, the least she could do for him is give him a ride. As they begin their journey, she offers him a seat, and it becomes clear that Christian does not understand the concept of keeping quiet. He speaks out and makes an effort to impress Mallory as he talks himself up. He then begins acting strangely and claims that their meeting was predestined and that fate brought them together. Soon after, we discover that he is a complete pervert when he begins to speak to her in an inappropriate manner. Mallory tells the boy to get out of the car after she has had enough of his BS. However, Christian is not the one who should follow orders because he never got in the car to go so quickly. Now that she is forced to continue driving, Mallory realizes that Christian is not wearing a seatbelt as she considers how to preserve her life and get rid of the pervert. She then accelerates to her maximum speed and descends a guardrail close to a curb. The next thing we see after the automobile smashes is Mallory hanging upside down in her vehicle. She tries to get out of it, but her foot becomes stuck in the seat, making it impossible for her to move. Christian fell from the automobile while still unconscious because he was not buckled in. The man is hurt, but not as badly as Mallory, and he's actually in much better shape than she is. When the man wakes up and approaches Mallory, he immediately notices that one of her legs is immobilized. The poor girl is then told to abandon the vehicle and is left to perish while hanging upside down. Mallory is forced to shout for assistance, and we can see that there is a river nearby. Night falls, but no one is there to aid her, and she has been in this state for a considerable amount of time. Her condition is starting to deteriorate rapidly as the night grows darker and colder. Mallory hunts around and eventually discovers some of her clothing in her car, which she then puts on. The bad news is that there are numerous wild creatures there and she is trapped in what appears to be a region close to a forest, which is a hazard in and of itself. She instantly switches on her car's headlights to frighten them away, and it succeeds. She miraculously makes it through the harsh night. Mallory is still stranded as the sun is about to rise, and she is in serious jeopardy because she has no food and little to no water left. The poor girl is still stuck in her car and hanging upside down throughout the entire day with no one showing out to assist her. She remains there the following morning, searching the area in vain for any sign of hope. Mallory is currently in a terrible state, and to make matters worse, Christian shows there. He appears to be in excellent health and spirits. He returns and continues to abuse her while eating and drinking in front of her. The pervert then continues to tell her how fate is a funny thing. Christian tells her that he has found a cabin, which is currently empty but he suspects is occupied by a family who are not at home as he sits there taking pleasure in her suffering. Christian leaves while Mallory screams and pleads for help because he also realizes that Mallory won't be around for very long and might not make it through another night. The third night arrives, it is pitch black outside, and to Mallory's good fortune, she discovers a lighter in her car. In order to have some light and perhaps some heat in the frigid night, she fires it. After a brief period of sleep, Mallory is abruptly awakened by a family of rats who appear to be having fun with her body. After giving it some thinking, she realizes that the rats' visit actually isn't that horrible for her because at least she receives some food. The following morning, Mallory is awakened by her phone ringing. In her current situation, this is the nicest thing that could have occurred to her, and the only word that comes to mind is hope. Nevertheless, before she can make any phone calls, Christian reappears, and Mallory instantly stows her phone away when she notices Christian there. Christian begins to tell her about the cabin once more and how the family who resides there has returned. She is then told not to be scared of him at all and that he will now assist her in escaping the cabin after he further reveals that he has them imprisoned in their own cabin. Christian discovers that she has been keeping her cell phone from him, so the first thing he does is steal it away from her. After that, he gives her a saw. Christian acknowledges that Mallory is perfectly correct in saying that she cannot use the saw to cut through the door, but he doesn't anticipate it to happen because he only gave her the saw so that she could cut her foot and liberate herself. He continues by saying that she has no other options and that if she does not act soon, she might pass away in this place. He then abandons her once more on her own. Now that Mallory is in possession of the saw, she considers what Christian instructed her to do but eventually screams out in anger. Mallory begins to experience thirst as night sets because it has been long since she last had access to water. It's possible that God heard her prayers because as it starts to rain, it pours heavily, saving her from dehydration. She hears on the radio that the rainstorm is causing the highways to flood and that people are using the side roads because the main roads are impassable. Soon later, a car passes by her, and to her horror, it is Christian from her worst nightmare. Mallory devises a scheme as he stops, in which she smears the rat's blood all over her foot and acts lifeless. Christian gets close enough to check in with his flashlight, but he approaches too close. Mallory successfully stabs him, grabs his car keys, and locks his car right away. Then, when she knows he won't be able to find them, she hides the keys somewhere in the middle of the night. Now, she is preparing for the possibility that a passerby will see his car halt there. A short while later, a car comes along that turns out to be a police car. Mallory yells out as the policeman exits the vehicle in an effort to grab his attention. Mallory's voice is masked by the thunders because of how loud the storm is. Mallory continues to scream, but no one is there to hear her any longer. She now begins to believe that she won't survive if she can't leave the area quickly enough and starts to reflect on what Christian said. However, she only manages a few superficial cuts before the flood causes her automobile to begin rolling. Her car's door opens as it begins to fall, allowing her to escape. She urgently needs medical attention right now, and she also needs to leave that location. As Mallory approaches the riverside, she starts walking away from there. Not far from the river, she spots a cabin and hears someone screaming in there. This prompts her to move quickly towards the house, right when the stick she is holding triggers a bear trapped installed on the ground. At this moment, she begins to think about the cabin Christian told her about. Mallory now knows that Christian must be in there, and with that possibility in mind, she starts to walk around the cabin. Here Mallory witnesses Christian kills the police officer who helped him before, and keeps their daughter named Katie a hostage. When she quietly steps inside the cabin, she sees that Christian has killed the homeowners as well, and she grabs the police officer's gun. While Christian is practicing wearing the police outfit, perhaps in preparation for his next nefarious scheme, Mallory manages to enter and makes an attempt to free the girl. Soon later, Mallory hears Christian's footsteps and quickly hides before the crazy man arrives. She then succeeds in grabbing the police officer's weapon. Mallory is then attacked by Christian while being warned to flee by Mallory. She struggles with Christian before quickly managing to flee. Mallory is gone when Christian comes into the room to look for her. He is ultimately defeated by Mallory by being pushed from a balcony on the second floor. He stumbles, slamming his leg into a bear trap. Mallory then drags Katie downstairs and hands him his knife. She goes on to say that she will offer him the same opportunity that he gave her. Mallory comments on fate and informs Christian that perhaps it was meant to be this way from the moment they first met. Before the film ends, Christian suffers from his wound while thinking about what Mallory said. Mallory and Katie make their way down the road in search of assistance. This is where the movie ends.
If you enjoyed this video, hit the like button and subscribe for more videos like this.